What's going on, YouTube family? T.O. here with Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight with another lake breakdown. Actually, this time we're just finishing up Lake Worth over in Fort Worth, Texas. We talked about the Google waypoints. Now we're going to move over and talk about the Navionics side. I've got some new exciting stuff to share with you. I'm doing it on my phone now, so I'll share that with you guys and kind of explain why here in a minute. And then we also have some new videos coming up for some more live fishing. Lan and I actually went out and fished the Lake Tawakoni invitational, their bass club invitational that they had, and ended up doing extremely well, I guess you could say. So be excited to share that with you here pretty soon. So anyways, thank you everyone for the subscriptions. Make sure to let me know if you have some more lakes you want me to break down. The upcoming breakdown lakes will be Lake Fork and Purtis Creek, and then Joe Pool and Texoma, I think is what we have on our list for right now, but always willing to get more. Hey, don't want to delay anymore. Let's jump into Lake Worth. Here we go. All right, so we're going to do things a little bit differently tonight. Tonight, we're actually going to be using my iPhone, and I'm going to be sharing my screen with you to really show you the Navionics waypoints through my iPhone. And the main reason why I'm doing this is I wanted to be able to show you these points and to be able to share them with you somehow. And so what I'm going to be able to do is take all of these offshore hotspots that I identify for you guys on these maps and be able to add those to the SD cards that we're selling on simplisticfish.square.site. So make sure you go out there and check that out. We can also offer you guys the digital files too, which that knocks about, I think, $8 or $9 off the overall cost. So definitely affordable and definitely worth your time to go get that card or to go get the digital file and take advantage of it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start off. We're going to start off just like we did on the beginning video when we talked about the Google Earth waypoints, except for this time, we're actually going to come down here by the base and we'll just start back here. I think there's a spot in here. If we zoom in a little bit, we're going to be able to tell that you can't really get past this red line that's right in this area right here. So you can kind of see the red line and the red marker that's over there. Now, if we scroll down here just a little bit, and here's where that red line is. And I don't believe you can get anywhere from anywhere past there. So if that's not true, then there probably is some stuff maybe that you could look at, maybe go in that pocket or something like that. But I just don't think you can get back here. It looks like it's off limits. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start right here. And the first thing that you'll kind of notice here is you've got two little points that stick out. So you've got a nice one right here that pretty much goes from 12 foot out to about 18, 19 feet. So you've got about a 6 foot break somewhere in that area. And then if you come up here, you kind of have the same thing, kind of a nice little settle point, 6 foot on the top of it. And then when you get out here to the edge of it, you start to see it's in about 18 foot of water. So probably some good little offshore spots to see if they're collecting there. You know, this one's decent too. It's not as defined as those, but pretty close. So maybe look at the outer edge of this one as well. And then probably up the tip of this one. So really, you probably want to look at all four. But the two that I marked there, I think those are probably going to be your two hottest ones, and possibly this one right here. So then moving back in here, someone just put big bass back in there. It's probably a good place to go pitching and flipping. We may have even marked some stuff on there when we went over the Google waypoints. So let's go ahead and move over here. We're going to go to the shoreline on the eastern side. And the first thing that I really noticed from an offshore hotspot was really, you've got two humps that are out here. So the first one is right out here, and they've actually marked this one as a saddle or a hump. So you got the saddle and the humps out here. So I went ahead and marked that one for you. You've got basically a hump with the top of it in about 14 to 15 foot of water. And then it looks like it breaks off to the side to about 20, 21 feet. So maybe about a 5 foot increase for that hump somewhere in there. So probably a pretty good one to take a look at. And then the one farther up here, it's actually more of a point. So it's actually connected to the land. It comes out here. And this one comes up a little bit shallower. So you're 6 foot on the top, and then you've got the nice breaks on the side, and you've got the saddle there as well. So definitely some good spots to take a look at if you're looking in that area. And if we move over here, you kind of see the same thing, a little underwater point that comes out and has a couple little nice breaks that are in there. I probably just scan that whole area that's around this area right in here. Just scan that whole area and just see what you can find. And again, it's a seasonal type thing, right? So depending on the season is going to depend on where they're at in that area, but typically you're going to find them in that area. It's just they're going to set up in different spots. And then coming around here, I kind of liked this point that you see here coming off this side. Sorry, my phone's giving me a little bit of fits here, but coming off this side, but just wasn't significant enough to really, I don't know, to catch my attention. But it is, I mean, it does have a pretty good break. It looks like it goes from about 6 foot, possibly to about 12 foot. So Navionics might not be showing it correctly. There could be some pretty good breaks. So maybe scan around right here around this point and do the same thing over here too, because you got a pretty sharp break. You got about 20 feet here, and then it goes up to about 6 foot. So you've got some pretty sharp breaks on both those points. So I didn't mark those just because I can't really tell. Probably should have marked that one. Let's go ahead and mark that one right now. Come down here and put a little fish on it. And so we've got that one marked. So we'll come back and maybe look at that one later. But I really do like how those points come out and make that break there. So let's move on up. We're going to go on up a little bit further. And right here, we're looking at this point that's right here. And you can see it's got a nice shallow top. It's about 12 feet on the top. And then it breaks out to about 21 foot. So real nice point, underwater point that comes out here. Not obvious to to those people that are just bank fishing, but there could be some good stuff right out here off the edges of these points or off the sides of this point as well. So definitely take a look in that area. And then moving back here, real nice break. If we look here, got some pretty deep water back in this little cove back here. So 12 foot. I really like this area back in here just because you can tell something's going on here. Got some really good breaks, really shallow right here, basically not even giving you any depth right here, 1 to 2 feet. And then all of a sudden right there on the edge of that dock, it just plummets down to about 16 feet. So something's going on around that dock area. I like the way it sets up too. It's a little bit of a secondary point going back into probably some type of a spawning cove. So I would definitely take a look at that dock and around that little secondary point. So I'm gonna keep moving out here. You've got the pretty big flat that comes out here, but really if you look at it, it kind of makes a little S here and kind of turns and makes a little point right off the edge right around in here. And you've got some slopes that are out here too that might be worth checking out. My guess is your better spot's probably gonna be right around in here where you're seeing this little arrow at, where that fish is at. So definitely take a look at that as well. And then moving over here, you've got an island, but then outside of that island, I'm pretty sure this could still be underwater, but just barely underwater. So there may be brush there that you can see. Again, never been here before, so I don't know, but that looks like a pretty nice little hump that's out there. And it's got another little island that's right over here. So pretty much I would fish around both those areas, but definitely fish on this side because this is where your major break is. So, up in here, it's pretty much the same, 5 to 8 feet, something like that. But over here, you pretty much go from 6 feet to 18 feet. So big difference in the depth change there. It would be a good area to take a look at. And then if I move over here, there's another hump that's out here as well. This one's got about an 8-foot top on it, 8 to 9 foot top on it. And then it has some pretty good breaks off the side. So if you come off here off the top of it, it gets out 20, 21 feet off some of the breaks on these sides. So I'd say your better side's probably going to be on the steeper side. But really on these humps, they can really be anywhere. A lot of times it really just depends on the wind direction. So whichever the wind direction is blowing, you typically just want to set your boat up facing the wind and cast into the wind or cast across the wind. That's usually going to be your best bet. But as far as how they're setting up, they'll typically set up facing the wind. All right, so I'm going to keep moving up here. And if we come up here, you can kind of see this. There's a little point that comes out. It's about 8 feet on the top, really looks good, and has some pretty good drop that's right off the side right here. So again, another good place to take a look at. And it says emergent vegetation as well, which that could be good too. Those could be lily pads back in there or something like that. So definitely take a look off that point and then see what's back there as far as the vegetation. It might have been something we covered in the Google Earth Waypoints video as well. And then as we move up here, kind of out here in the middle, I just wanted to point out a couple different areas. You can see here these high spots. You've got one here, 12-foot high spot, kind of the same thing, kind of 12 foot here, and then you've got this point that comes out right in here. So really, I probably should have put that fish there because really you want to check on the edges of all of this. But right in here, it makes this underwater point, and that looks really good right there. So take a look right in there, and then also look at all these humps. So you've got a hump here, Got another hump here and another one right in here, and then kind of the rest of it's a little bit of a mess. But definitely take a look at, pretty much just draw a square around those four orange fish that you see there, and definitely scan around those areas. Take a look off the tips of those points and take a look off the sides of them as well. And those could always be good areas to look at. And then we're going to come up here a little bit further, and I'm just going to touch on this side of Goat Island. We'll touch on the other side of Goat Island coming back. But you got a pretty good area that's right in here. So you can see it makes a real nice flat top here. And then it has a nice break that comes off of here. So I'd imagine you're probably going to get a lot of shells and stuff like that in this area. All kinds of good stuff. So definitely would look at this side of the island for sure. I see a bass that's up here. It says there's some rocks and things, but definitely right in here looks good. Looks really, really good to me. Definitely looks like an area that I would go take a look at. And then I'm going to keep moving over. We're going to hit that side coming back down. Right here, we've got a nice little hump as well. This one tops out at 6 feet on the top and then has a drop out to about 14 feet. So probably a pretty good little hump to take a look at. So definitely scan around that area, take a look at it. That could be a good little offshore spot. And then these two areas right in here, I just kind of marked them for you. You got a nice little point here that comes out. It has a real nice break. If you kind of look at this S, or if you follow the little plus sign here, it just kind of makes a little S right there. That could be a really good area to take a look at. So look in there, and then also look off the tip of this point too. You'll notice a lot of times I'm marking almost every point we come across, and that's because points are just really good areas to go take a look at. So really don't pass up too many points, because a lot of times you're going to find some good stuff there. Now this point could be a good area to look at too. It just wasn't as juicy as those other two that I saw. And then moving up here, it looks like you got to either be careful, or I don't know if there's any boats back here. This looks like it may just be danger buoys and stuff, and maybe you can come out here and swing around these danger buoys. I don't really know, but I'm just going to pretend that I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to go up this lake and really just looking for offshore spots. The main thing I like here is right here, you can see we've got a little deep hole. So sometimes in the summer times, they'll tuck into these deep ponds, like these old ponds, and they'll get into the deepest part of that area, because that's really the deepest part of that whole entire area that's back here. So there's little 10-foot pockets. So this one right here looks really good. Possibly maybe a pond dam up in here, or just look in that area. And then also over here, you got the same thing. So you've got pretty much this big flat, but then you got these little pockets where it's just a lot deeper. So you've got one right here. You've got another one that's over here. So on this bank line up here, this one's actually got some pretty sharp drop off from the bank lines. You pretty much go from 1 foot to 18 foot pretty quickly. So I would say anywhere in this area would definitely be good. That bank line, and then maybe even come over here and fish on the edge of this too, and just see what you can find. And then pretty much going up in here, I just marked a few things up in here. There's little pockets that you can see on Navionics, and I'm sure there's a lot more of these as you go up in this little river, or if you can get up in here. But you got this nice little pocket that's right in here. You got another one that's in there. It's not as deep. That one's 9 feet. That one's actually 12, so that one looked really good. 9 feet looks pretty good too, though. You got a 10-foot one over here. If you can actually get back in here, so maybe you kayakers could take advantage of these. You got a real nice, good, deep pocket that's right here, right next to a flat, and you've got another pocket that's over here too. So I'll kind of zoom out so you guys can see that a little better. So I really, really like all that stuff. So coming back down here, we talked about that deep pocket there. So let's get back down into civilization, and we're going to come down here. And if you notice, you kind of see some underwater stuff going on here. You see this little kind of hook that it makes. It's got a little real nice deep channel that comes here, probably like an old creek channel or something like that. Right in here on this row of boat docks, I would pretty much fish all of those boat docks. You got some really deep boat docks, 14 feet, 28 feet, just some real nice deep boat docks. And then after those boat docks, come out here and look around this point and see if you can find anything around this point, because you got some pretty good depth. You got like 6 foot right there, and then you've got it dropping all the way out to 17 foot just a little bit later. So definitely some good spots to try to take a look at. And then moving over here, we've got a hump. Again, this one's in about 8 foot of water, so you can see that it comes up pretty good, and then it has real nice drop-offs on both sides. So 17 foot on one side and about 14 to 15 feet on the other side. So another good area to take a look at as well. And then we get down here by Goat Island again. I marked this side. Now, really, it's hard to tell what part of this island by looking at avionics is going to be your hot spot. I mean, it's got all kinds of good looking stuff. Because if you ask me, I mean, I would probably scan the whole thing. Because you got good drops here. You got a real nice. Well, I guess this is a little bit deeper. So you got about 20 foot here. So this actually breaks down instead of up. So it's going to visually, it's going to be a little bit different to think about. But imagine these contour lines, instead of them going up to the hump, they're actually going down into like this pit. So you've got this pit that's around the edge of Goat Island. So I would say this backside is going to be pretty deep. You got some pretty good depth. Back here, you've got this nice little point right in here that looks like it's got some rocks. You've got some drops that are all along in here. So it's just hard to say what you need to scan in there, but I'd pretty much just scan that whole area. Anywhere you see these contour lines that are really thin like this, it's showing you that there's some type of a break there. So you want to take advantage of that and scan around those areas. Even like right in here where this old creek channel area is, right in here around this bend, could be good. I mean, there's all kinds of good stuff that's over in here, but basically just scan around that area, see what you can find. Let's keep on moving on. So right here, you got a little bit of a pinch point, right? So you got 13 foot of water, and then it kind of comes up here into a shallow part, but you've got a nice little hump that's right in here. So about 5 foot of water with a real nice drop off into about 13 foot. This looks like it could be a really good area to fish. And it's actually got a fish icon here. It says October to dusk. I don't know, what they really meant by that, but you can tell it's pretty good because you got the same drop on this side as well. So if I zoom in, you'll see what I'm talking about. And you got that deep, a little bit deeper section. Everything else around here was 12 to 13 feet. If you go a little bit further south, then you're going to see where it gets up in 7 to 8 feet. So you've got a real nice deep pocket here with a good little pinch point. So definitely a place that you'd want to take a look at. Then over in here, it looks like you got some type of trees or something like that. It may be extremely shallow over here, but you got the same thing again. You've got a nice little pocket that's right here, 7 to 8 feet. And right here off the tip of this little island, looks like it could be pretty good. So I would definitely look at that. All right, so I'm going to scroll back down. And we're just going to keep coming south of the lake. We already talked about this area here, drew the whole square over there and said, make sure you look at that area. So let's keep going down. This point looks pretty good here. You got a nice flat top on it, about 6 foot. And then you got some really good drop that goes out to about 18 feet. So I really like that. That looks good. And then coming underneath the bridge, obviously you want to fish those pillars on those bridges. Those can be really good. So fish anywhere where you see those contours, fish those pillars where you see those contours. Those are probably going to be your hotter spots. And then moving down here, when we get down into this branch, I really like these two areas right here. So see where it has some really sharp breaks right here on this little secondary point that you see here. If we scroll over here, this little pocket here has some interesting stuff that just kind of, I don't know, looked interesting to me. This dock, everything's shallow around here, but yet this one dock is in about 14 foot of water off the edge of it. So sometimes when you see that, it's interesting because it's the deepest dock in that area. So it's probably going to be a good area to take a look at or a good dock to take a look at. So I go ahead and mark those when I see those, especially when they stand out like that. And then I'm going to keep moving over here. Didn't see too much in this pocket. I do kind of like this little area here. I don't know why that one didn't get my attention before, but right in here, see where this little point is right in here? That can be a good area to take a look at. I'd probably at least scan around and just see. Its top is maybe not as flat as you'd want it to be, but it's got a nice point on it, so kind of like it. Going back in here, didn't see too much from an offshore standpoint. I do kind of like this right in here, this little point. So I definitely look at this. You've got some really sharp, steeper banks here. Pretty much going from like 6 feet to 12 feet pretty quickly. So you must have a pretty sharp little drop in this area for sure. And then from there, we're going to get back down. I think we're already back down to where we started. So this would be where the base was and where we all started. And then we talked about these 2 points that are over here. So that really covers the offshore hotspots for Lake Worth. I'm sure I probably missed some things just because I'm not a local there. I don't know all of the guaranteed spots, but love to share these things with you guys. I love the fact that you guys are enjoying watching these. So I'll continue to do them. Our next lake breakdown is actually going to be on Lake Fork. So that one's going to take a few videos to do. Obviously, there's a lot of good places to fish on Lake Fork, so I'll make sure to break down that for you guys. And then after that, we've got Purtis Creek coming, and then we've had a few other requests for. I think we had another lake. I can't remember what the name of it was over by Fort Worth, but I'll take a look at it. Oh, it was Joe Pool and Texoma as well. So I'll probably start taking a look at those here pretty soon. So anyways, really appreciate the time this evening. And thank you very much, guys. If you haven't had a chance to subscribe yet, please subscribe to our channel. We truly appreciate the support and truly need you guys to be there for us to help keep this channel growing so we can continue to do these videos for you. Hope you enjoyed the new format as well. It's something new that I'm trying out. So let me know in the comments if you liked it. And until next time, guys, hope you catch your PB. Take care.